them come. This is their fate.
All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. Let me get my Birdman hands in there. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today we got a lot of topics. We want to go over some stuff we missed in the past episodes and some more new stuff. And some real bad missteps from Xbox, unfortunately. But we're going to talk about a lot. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to get some opinions. But before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell me, not just them, tell me how y'all day been going, how y'all week been, because I haven't talked to y'all at all, and literally don't know what y'all been up to. What games y'all been playing, and how y'all been living over the last week. Whoever want to go first? Take your time.
I take it at once.
You said what?
I said not everybody at once.
Clear the air.
Yeah, so my week been good. Just right now I'm trying to figure out how I can become Marvel's new Kang the Conqueror.
Oh my God! Please don't bring that up.
A new lead actor.
Oh
so
my
I'm
God!
Gonna get over to Hollywood some way.
Oh my God, man!
That make two of us.
I heard y'all need a new black man to play y'all lead character. Heard he got like 5 movies lined up in the next 3 years. Yeah, I got to do this casting quick.
You already know Michael B. Jordan coming in and slide through with his emotionless faces. Yeah, but he taking that spot.
No, my week been good. Not much going on. It's springtime, so we getting some days super hot, some days super rainy. But still pretty good. Been going out a lot with the family. And then as far as games, we haven't been able to like play anything together in a while. The new Overwatch season, I haven't touched it at all. I'm still going through my Resident Evil games. I think last time I said I was playing 2 remake. I finished that completely. I played it like 4 times. I liked it a lot. Playing the different campaigns and seeing the differences, and then playing it again on like the second run where they redo the map and move items around and stuff like that. So it was a really good game. Probably if
no
not
fatigue
my favorite,
yet.
definitely.
You ain't got no Resident Evil fatigue. Are they different enough to not feel that way?
Oh no, it's so far. Well, yeah, going from 4 to 2, they were completely different, and then like 2 felt like really new with all the graphics and cutscenes and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that a lot. And then so 2, I would definitely recommend to anybody. It's a really good game. And then probably one of my favorite Resident Evil games, if not my favorite. Then I moved on to 3. 3, I enjoyed it. 3 remake, but it was a big like letdown compared to 2 for like a bunch of reasons. Where like the main one, like Nemesis, is supposed to be like Mr. X, but he's faster and he can use weapons. But he ended up just being a lame version of Mr. X because he only show up in like certain scripted like hallways. And it's like Mr. X will literally follow you around the whole police station. Like he'll go in different rooms. He'll follow you into a room. If you do lose him, you'll hear him walking around the whole police station, like checking every room to try to find you. And it's like he's constantly following you, and that's what makes it interesting. Whereas Nemesis, you'll reach the next save room, and then he just disappear. And then like you'll go out for a little bit, and then the next scripted part, like once you reach this gas station or something like that, he'll pop out. It's like, so it's predictable and it's not interesting. And then that only happens like in the beginning of the game. That's like the first 20%. And then the rest of the game is all just like scripted chase sequences. Like you run across the bridge and he's chasing you, but you can't fight him. You can't shoot back or stuff like that. So it felt more like a Tomb Raider thing than I would say like a survival horror. But I mean, I enjoyed it still. the combat is better than 2. Like you got a dodge move, and you can like when you dodge, it'll slow down time. You can get a headshot on the zombie. All the weapons like feel better. You got really good like shotgun and grenade launchers and stuff like that. So it was fun to play, but Nemesis kind of sucks compared to Mr. X. So overall, the game feels like a letdown. And then the main thing is that it has no content. Like the game is 6 hours. It doesn't have a second campaign or like a second character. There's no unlocks or challenge mode or nothing like that. Like you just play the game again on a harder difficulty. And some stuff might be slightly different, but there's no like extra ending or cutscenes or nothing new. So it's basically the same thing. It's because they wasted all their time making that multiplayer game that nobody plays. So if it comes down to the better product, like if you only got $20 to spend, you got to pick the 22. Resident Evil 2 is the way better pick because overall the game is designed better and it has more content. 3 is still fun. If you enjoy 2, it's a little bit of extra, get more of the story and stuff like that. But I would still give it a 7, but it's a huge step down from 2. And so at least 4 is out now, and people saying 4 is even better than 2. So I was already looking forward to it, but now I can see like they had a little stumble, but then they reached greatness again. So
Yeah,
that's good at least. I'm play that next. I haven't started it yet, but that's next on my list.
okay. So the Resident Evil 4 journey still continues, I suppose. Now, or the Resident Evil in general, because that's a lot. Yeah. But what about you, Jalen? What you been up to? What you been doing? What you been playing?
Yeah, so I was been trying to get things situated as of today because my birthday coming up. So I've been a little discombobulated because I'm about to I was just trying to figure out something to do with my birthday. I'm turning 29. Didn't want to turn 29. I need to have some type of like chronostasis, but I don't think it's any way possible to do that. So I just need to embrace that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do, buddy. You're going to be 30 at some point. And,
it's too late to try to slow down. You already got your own insurance, paying taxes, paying your own bills.
Yep. Hey, RP, here I come, boy. Hey, RP. Hey. But my friends convinced me to do something for my birthday or something. So we got a section at the good, so we finna be outside. You think I'm a fun?
How much that section cost you, Gene? That's the real
talk
question.
About that. You only live once. Yo. You feel me? The yo and the low.
That man. See, I told you, he be getting to that money over there. He don't want nobody. No, he on the low though. Ladies, man, hit him up, lady.
Broke boys. Just that Drake song, broke boys.
Nah. Ladies, hit him up. He single and mingling. And he buying sections. He coming to a section near you.
Party.
Stop playing, man.
My friends are coming up from Kalamazoo and stuff like that. So then I got some friends here. They're just like, yeah, bro, do something. We finna put in, so it's gonna be up. I'm gonna be broke boys. Dude, I ain't really been doing nothing like playing nothing. Y'all gonna get mad at me, but I mean I've been having white noise watching Dragon Ball Z like I told y'all. And I've been playing a little bit of stuff on my Steam Deck, but I've been wanting to play or finish playing Chrono Trigger, but I'm having issues with my Steam Deck, like trying to play it on there. So, yeah, basically. But hey, you funny. But yeah.
What?
So
I mean, I thought that's what you said. That's why I was saying it. I know.
I thought. Yeah, never mind. Anyways, but no, that's really about it. I ain't really been playing nothing on my PlayStation or anything like that. I bought this Lego set. I'm probably gonna start trying to put that together next week. But other than that,
How many pieces
I ain't
was
been
that?
doing much. You said how much was the Lego set?
Yeah, man.
How
You
many
know what I'm
pieces?
saying? It's like
You actually
3,000.
want to know numbers? Look at it.
3,000. Look, nah, you already
Tell me about
told
the
us.
numbers, man.
Nah, I
He
was
trying to
just saying.
reinforce that previous
I
statement.
said, I was going to
Broke boys,
reinstate the
that's me.
same thing. I said, yeah, man. Somebody talking about I bought Lego. I said, that ain't no broke boy to me. You know what I'm saying? That's leisure money.
Broke boys.
He said, let me buy a Lego set. See what spend a little time on myself. Yeah, right.
Man. Yeah, man.
He ain't broke,
Broke
y'all.
boys. But it's like 2,300 pieces on there.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
so we.
That's a lot.
That is a lot,
be working
bro.
on that for the next year.
That boy over there, he gonna be, like I said, he can do that because he don't live with nobody. He can just set that mug up and keep working on it.
Yeah, so it's smooth. But that's pretty much it, though. I mean, I was trying to play Stankin' Ring and stuff like that, but you know.
Yeah. That's how it goes. I mean, I understand. I've been just playing. I ain't been playing nothing much. I've been trying to. I actually got put in a chokehold by Vampire Survivors. I was playing that for a while. I looked up. I didn't put 9 hours in that thing. I said 9 hours. The heck was I doing? But yeah, I've been playing that on the Steam Deck, just chilling when I'm watching TV or talking to Karina or whatever the case may be. I throw that on and run a match or whatever. Or
I've been avoiding that game.
Yeah,
saying it's addictive.
It is addictive because I'll be up and I'm more like, shoot, I gotta get back to it. I gotta get back to work. I'll be sitting that ain't work, G. Yeah,
man, I gotta get back to work.
I gotta get back to work. I'm like, that is literally not you're not paid to play that game. I'll be sitting up there as soon as I get off. I'll be like, yep, throw this on real quick. But yeah, so that had me in a chokehold, and I just started playing that 2 days ago. So. And then what else was I playing?
Wait, 9 hours in 2 days?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's easy though, because you sit there and you play it while you doing something else. So you don't even be paying attention to the time. And then you when you start getting better, it's like 30-minute runs because you can last the entire time limit. But so yeah, it just started to become like you play like 30 minutes and it's an hour, and then you just like, oh shoot. But then you sitting there playing.
It's a game that you can kind of play passively, right?
Yeah, you can play it pretty much passively, especially once you get all your upgrades. You don't really got to worry about stuff. But it do have some type of complexity to it, but most of it is just figuring out the right upgrades and making sure your person ain't just running into all the enemies. You just trying to make sure you moving a little bit. But honestly, you could definitely chill, listen to something like a podcast or something like that while you play it. But yeah, anywho's, but yeah, I've been playing that. Then I went back to Horizon Forbidden West. I'm actually trying to get some of the unlockable. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because they got the DLC coming out. I've been trying to be prepared for that. And but yeah, I've been playing a few things, not that much, but a few things. I still ain't started Midnight Suns. I bought Stranger's Paradise again for $10, and then I just bought Far Cry 6 back for $1.13. So I'm just collecting games that I was gonna play. I sold, and then bought them back at cheap prices. It's flash sales.
Don't worry, y'all. You're gonna beat all these games.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to beat them all anyway. I decided not to buy Dead Island 2. I had to come to the conclusion that I don't feel comfortable spending $70 on walking fighting simulation. So I'm not gonna do that. I'll wait for the price to drop. They come out on the 20th. Come out Friday. So yeah. But I decided nah, I'm not gonna do it. Next game I'm gonna buy is gonna probably be Zelda.
Is it co-op? Jalen and play it with you.
It is co-op. But
there you go,
like
Jalen.
I said,
know you love zombie game.
I might hit y'all up if it's $30. I'm like, hey, y'all, man, cop this real quick so we can play it. But if not,
broke boys.
Nah, stop playing, man. What you mean? You got section money. Anyway, so We that was all.
No
That's pretty much all I
Dutchy
did, and it was straight. I mean, I went down to the city for a little bit. My man T Dog, shout out to my man T Dog. Went down for his birthday. Had to take the kids with me. Nightmare of a situation, but they were fun. They were cool. We went to a few restaurants with them, walked around, and they had a good time at least. So happy that they were able to go see family, go see T Dog, Uncle T, and chill. So they had fun. But yeah. But anywho, outside of that, let's get into these topics. It's been already 11 minutes and we ain't got into these topics. Redfall. Let's start there. Xbox. What is going on over there? Didn't we say that $7 billion for Bethesda wasn't worth it? Didn't I say that? I literally said that. I said it ain't worth it because they are. Oh my god! I was like, when I seen the news about Redfall being 30 FPS, I said, Jesus Christ, bro, just delay it at this point. Just delay the game. Like, why are y'all still trying to force this game down our throats when you don't have the offline mode ready and you don't have the 60 FPS and the game doesn't look the greatest? It's like ugly. To be completely blunt, it's an ugly looking game. And like, okay, fine, as long as the gameplay's solid. But then you tell me I'm playing the FPS in 2023 at 30 FPS. Anyways, Xbox, but I don't even address it to Xbox, but Bethesda. They obviously ain't micromanaging y'all. They obviously ain't holding y'all accountable for y'all actions because y'all did that same crap that y'all did with Ghostwire Tokyo on the PlayStation 5. Y'all did that junk to the Xbox, and it runs worse on the Xbox. So there's plenty of things that's coming out y'all camp. I understand Tango Gameworks did Hi-Fi Rush, which is great, but there's plenty of blemishes already starting off. I feel like Starfield gonna be at 30 FPS. Like, this is...
Oh yeah, definitely. That game is not gonna be 60.
my god, bro. All the telltale signs of garbage coming out of this camp is ridiculous. And I always felt like Bethesda was way overpriced for that $7 billion. And only one that was really good was Doom. And I'm just like, that $7 billion ain't worth Doom. Bethesda got Elder Scrolls, but what if that doesn't work out? Like, sheesh. I mean, I feel bad for Big Philly, but he also did it to himself. He out there supporting healthy work environments. Sony got the sweatshop. No, I'm just playing. But I don't know. Whatever the heck is going on over there, it feel like everybody doesn't really respect the boss because they just doing whatever they want to do over there. And I feel like ain't no way, B. Ain't no way 30 FPS gonna ship on a console exclusive game for me. Like, ain't no way. So, but Redfall, if y'all don't know, sorry if I'm just speaking in layman terms. Redfall is a new IP from out of the Bethesda camp, and it's Arcane Studios. Arcane Studio is a well-known entity, and they have made great games. This game itself is an online multiplayer game, and it is co-op based, and it is a shooter, not normal for Arcane Studios. This first-person shooter is launching on the Xbox because it's exclusive to the Xbox console at 30 FPS with a 60 frames per second mode to come at a later date. They did not disclose the later date, but the damage control started, and there was really nothing to help their case. Essentially, it seems as if the game is just unfinished and they're deciding to push it out anyway. That tells me that you yourself don't care about your game, and it tells me that you yourself was okay with shipping a unfinished product. That does not make me want to play your game. I get it that you guys are putting it on Game Pass, and I guess that is a demotivator. I don't know, whatever the case may be. It just seems as if most things that are kind of in this space right now of hitting Game Pass, it seems like they just don't care about the how mediocre it is. I remember when the Medium hit, and it just wasn't the greatest of gameplay nor technically sound, and then there's just been a lot of cases of games that were supposed to be exclusive that just felt like missteps. So, yeah, I mean, what are y'all thoughts on 30 FPS shooters in 2023?
Honestly, I know that people try to make it seem like 30 FPS is not a big deal. Like we play God of War on PS4, 30 FPS and stuff like that. And that's true, but it is, I think, always better for it to be 60. And at this point, when it's not that it's not technically, so I'll say maybe it's not easy for every game, but the consoles, the PCs, and the like all the different APIs from NVIDIA and stuff like that, they make it possible. So it's not impossible for these games to reach 60 if y'all actually make the effort to do it. So for me, I take a look at it as it's a less interesting product because even though people's, this is its own game, it is competing with other stuff. So if there's any other multiplayer game that runs at 60, that is interesting around the same time, that is your competition. I don't know what they're doing in the world. Like you said, the game doesn't look as complex or whatever, but this 30 FPS just seems like it's a rushed or lazy attempt in which I don't want to say, they're lazy, but it's not ready when you have the 60 FPS mode planned, but it's going to take 6 months to get it out. You're selling me a worse product day one. I would rather play it 6 months down the line once the game is feature complete. So that's my opinion on it. This game, it seems interesting enough. I would play it. It's on Game Pass, so I can check it out still. But like, if you want me to be excited for the game, like, yeah, this is not gonna do it, and it already has a lot going against it in the sense where, this is a co-op shooter game, like 4-player co-op shooter, and I think people like those games, but it's like you have to have all your ducks lined up in a row day one, and if you don't, you're gonna miss your chance, and nobody's gonna be checking on this game in 6 months.
Heck, the gameplay already looks scratchy. It's just so much bad PR with this game now. It's like when they did that whole IGN clip of them fighting the boss, the Rock, and literally did a disservice because the guy just kept running away, made the fight seem super uninteresting, and the gameplay sucked while we was looking at it. And they put that out as if it was supposed to be a sneak peek of the game to come, and it just seemed like it was boring. And then on top of that, we were talking about how the online thing, where the game has to always be online. And then next came out is that when you instance into your teammates or your friends' world, you don't progress your own. So if they stop playing, you literally would have to go back and play the whole game again. Like, all of that is just bad news for this game. There's nothing about this that says this is good. So, like, it's downgrading the multiplayer experience. It's implementing things and rules and stuff like that causes it to, cause this whole online only situation. And then they can't even hit 30. I mean, can't even hit 60. And it's not like a very,
who knows? It might
elaborate
even
world.
hit 30. Gotham Knights was saying it needed to be 30 FPS because of the open world, and then it wasn't even 30.
It's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I know that I haven't played a 30 FPS game, shooter in a very long time. And when we did, it was Destiny, and it sucked. And I really, literally was super excited just to get an Xbox Series X just so I can play Destiny at 60 FPS because it was so much better. And I just don't see myself enjoying a 30 FPS shooter in 2023. And for that to be how you introduce the game to the world kind of sucks. Now, if you're just trying to help us envision your story and it's really captivating, then that's a different story. But I just don't see that happening. Honestly, I don't see. Arcane has the chops for it, but Deathloop's story was fine. It wasn't like groundbreaking, but it had an interesting concept. But I just don't see them doing that with Redfall. Now, I am interested in not zombies, but vampires and all that crap, but not to the degree of where I think they can hold a story well. It's just like, I don't know. I think I've seen it too much. So, I really feel bad for, I don't really know who I feel bad for because it's not them. It's probably the gamers that were interested in this game because it is going to get like the most poor reception, most poor coverage because of all of this bad information. Nobody's going to really talk about the game. So if you want to really understand it, go ahead.
I feel like this game and a lot of games that are going to be coming out for Xbox are being in a similar situation where I feel like they get overhyped and too much attention because this is all that Xbox has to offer. Like, I'm pretty sure this is... Well, Hi-Fi Rush came out in January. This is going to come out here. And Starfield is not coming out this year, so don't even think about that. But it's like, this is one of their only games coming out this year. Everybody's waiting for it. It's going to get a lot of attention. And I don't think that this was ever going to be a huge game. Because like, even from the gameplay and the previews and all that, like, it seems okay. Like, it can find its audience. People will play it. And it might be, stick around for a while. But this is not the same level of a launch as like Spider-Man or even Horizon, where it's like, this is the game that people are gonna be talking about all year. Like, it never had that chance, and all this other stuff is making its chances of success even lower. Yeah. I think that, again, if Microsoft is able to come out consistently with like, we got 1 or 2 games every year that are AAA. I mean, I guess they will call it quadruple A now with stuff like God of War, but like quadruple A game where it's like, this is the best we can do, and we are directly competing with Sony and what they put out. If they had those games, these other games like Redfall can still exist and people will like them, but they don't have those best games, and the games you got a bunch of blemishes, and it makes it look even worse.
Yep. Your fan is I don't know, your fan is like really loud. So but I agree. I think that they have had I feel like they're not really getting scrutinized because the same thing with Ghostwire Tokyo, I just feel like they're not being as scrutinized and they're not really actually being held accountable for things because it seemed like that was a shoot, like a phone in situation as well. Understandably, it's on Game Pass, but I feel like they're just like they don't want to add the additional resources to make the game look and run well because it's just on Game Pass, so they're not getting any money from it. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, it just feels so afterthought-ish, like on a lot of this stuff. And I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a certain standard over on Sony and even with third parties that they're meeting, and just not a standard on Xbox. Just feel like there's a lot of missteps here. Like the whole thing with Resident Evil 4 was so weird to me, like the input lag and all that stuff. So I ended up buying on the PS5 because I'm like, am I have to keep buying PS5 games simply because you guys aren't really doing a quality control on this end? Like, what is happening over here that's causing you guys to fail in a lot of different ways? So it's just like so much bad press right now with the Xbox, even with the storage on a PS5 being so much cheaper. I can go get 2 terabytes for $119. I can barely get 1 terabyte for that same price. It's like $140, $129. So it's just like all of this extra stuff now is starting to hurt the brand. And I really wish they would, right the ship. And they definitely don't need to be doing 30 FPS games, exclusive games at that. And it's just, it's mind boggling a little bit. I just feel like they are so close to making one great game and really putting themselves in that space. And with all of these blemishes and missteps and I don't know, inconsistencies, it starts to feel as if there isn't really a sound vision, or at least there isn't a lot of quality control happening on their end to kind of make these games work and be compatible. Now, I mean, there's always the opportunity for another, mid-generation upgrade to occur, which there's even rumors about, but that doesn't help the situation. All it does is kind of put a band-aid on
it's the consoles.
Yeah. It really just seems like there's a lot of quality control issues at this point that they need to work through, and especially if it's going to be coming from your first party. I would never expect Sony to put out anything like this in this type of state where it's like so many unfinished portions, because they just don't do it. And I understand they did it with Last of Us, and they never received the online mode for Last of Us Part 2. But I mean, like I said, there's missteps on both ends, but I feel like just Sony's has different types of missteps. It's just not the same. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to beat it too badly, because I know that I don't want to beat that dead horse too badly, because I know that everybody knows that this is not acceptable. But I did get some interesting comments about how when did 60 FPS become standard, and I felt like, I don't know, that comment I sat with that comment. I was like, I'm not really sure what you mean.
It's a standard that they offer an option of 30 FPS quality mode and 60 FPS performance mode, like they've been doing since the PS4 Pro came out 6 years ago. So it's like, that's your answer. Like, the reason they built those refreshes in the console generation is to make that an option. And so it is an option, and more specifically, Redfall is an Unreal Engine game. And it's like, they have the stuff built into the Unreal Engine to make that possible. Even if it doesn't run at a consistent 60, it's like, bump it down to 1080p and put it to 60. Like, you can make that an option at launch, and then you want to improve it over time, sure. But it's like, what is the problem that's keeping y'all from being able to reach 60 in your multiplayer game? And it's like, at least as a consumer who's paying for the game, you can expect a bare minimum.
Yeah, bare minimum, and that is the bare minimum. So, I agree. I was kind of what it kind of racked my head around it is that their explanation of why an opinion on 60 FPS being common, or to be common, or to be stated as fact that it is supposed to be there. Where did that come from? And I was like, I guess normality. I mean, I don't know, the way he phrased it made it seem as if it was like a different. It was coming from a different lens, but in true reality, it's the same. Is that our reality is shaped around the things that we see are common. I guess what he was trying to get at was that it's not common. I was like, that's just not true either. So I don't know what he was
sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure there have been some developers on Twitter who have long threads was like, oh, we have the data that like 60% of people play the game at 30 FPS or something like that. And it's like, yeah, maybe that is true, but it's like, at this point, this is like the second generation in a row where like letting console players customize their play experience as far as frame rate and resolution. This is the second generation that has been common. So
yeah,
don't act like this is a weird thing that we're the 1% asking for, quality. I mean, people aren't even asking for 120 FPS mode, asking for a 60 FPS mode. But it's like these consoles can play 120, and it's like these games are not even getting close to that. So
Yeah.
at bare minimum, let's do 30 and 60, and the games that can push it even further beyond, those will be the 1% experiences.
Yeah, I really want to see what Redfall is doing to make this game so intense or in like graphically intense or even, CPU intense, because right now I don't see it. So whatever that case may be, we need to really find that out. And even if they did figure something out, like I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West, where I can literally take off into the sky on a bird, and it does not drop a frame. So and that game is way better looking. So I just don't know. It just seems very confusing. I understand that they're totally different engines, but at the same time, if they can figure something out, Unreal has been around for a very long time. You can figure something out. So we will see on that. But let's move on. Anything you want to add to Redfall? I know that was a day one cop for you, Jalen. So I know you're a little disappointed.
I can't buy a broke boy. Not this one.
And it's a game.
Nah,
What you talking about?
Nah, I mean, I just agree with y'all statements about like the 60 frames and stuff like that. I mean, I don't play a lot of stuff.
We played Bloodborne at 24, and it was fun, but they should have offered a better product at that time, and that wouldn't be acceptable now.
Jalen has joined the 60F. He was like, he came to my house and fixed Overwatch. He said, "Man, what's going on? Why y'all menu look so scratchy?" I'm like, "What you mean?" He said, it's not flowing like it normally. I said, "Hold up, not you, Mister. Not you fix some people." He used to them on the care. He said, I'm just trying to play the game. Now he over there. Man, what's going on over here? My friend input, that latency ain't mentioned. He over there analyzing it.
What flowing from this
They say he over there detecting it. He over there with the sharing gun.
Yeah, I was like, something ain't right, bro. I don't know if this is refresh rate different. I'm like, well, something ain't adding up, bro, because your screen don't look like mine, and I'm playing on a lesser TV than yours. So I'm like, what's really going on? But and then even my Steam Deck was, you know what I'm saying, playing Overwatch at 60 frames or whatever. So it's just like, I think when I first got adapted to it was like, I think it's around the time we was playing Apex a little bit, and then I tried to hop back to Destiny or something like that. I'm like, man, why this game moving so scratchy? I'm like, is something going on? And after that point, I just kind of like, I got adjusted to the 60 frames, and then to add on to like the standard switching, as I've been like emulating or, looking at PS2 games and older games and stuff like that, I'm looking at these PS2 games, they running at like 60 frames. Obviously it's older, technology, all that type of stuff, but it started making me wonder, like, when did we move to this like 30 frames or whatever for some of these games? Yeah, and I just thought that was like a odd phenomenon, because it's like we pushed to 60 frames, now we talking 120, but the PS2 was like running games 60 frames or whatever, and at some point in time my eyes got adjusted to seeing 30 frames and stuff. So when I started seeing 60 frames on some of the Call of Duty games, I thought the game was moving a little too like smooth or too slippery, I guess, and I just thought that was kind of, where do my eyes like not adjust. Maybe the older TVs that we was playing on kind of help you know what I'm saying, like make it less of a difference. But yeah, I just thought all that was interesting, that we even going back to like the 60 frame stuff or whatever. So I feel like it should be a standard, because I can't imagine playing a game without it. I mean, some games okay, like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, but for the most part, like,
we gonna play Zelda most people gonna play Zelda at 30, and it's enjoyable, but it's like you can expect more for these $500-$600 consoles. Like, you should know what the machine is capable of and expect them to like address that in some way.
Yep. Agreed. Like, it is baffling. So hopefully they $7 billion investment actually turns itself around, because right now, if all we got out of that was Hi-Fi Rush, it is not looking good. But moving on, it was something I wanted to mention, and I don't even remember it now. It was on the Xbox. We was talking about, but it doesn't matter at this point. Let's move on to Horizon Forbidden West DLC. So, the DLC is coming out tonight in like an hour because we're recording this at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, let's talk about how Elden Ring just poo pooed all over this game and made it irrelevant. It's a good game, but it became super irrelevant. I hopefully Burning Shores can help it rejuvenate some buzz, but overall, this game literally became like. Did you ever play it, Jalen? Like, did you skip this game over mostly? Right.
Yeah, I never caught Forbidden West.
So, yeah. I don't know. What it was like a perfect storm, I guess. And it happened
last
every
year
time.
just wasn't good for it. Well, they, it's a big IP and it sells well, but also it needs to pick its own time of the year to come out. Like the first game came out at the same time as Zelda, and Zelda overshadowed it. And last year, Elden Ring overshadowed it. It's like Horizon does need its own place to not be overshadowed by a bigger IP.
Mm-hmm.
And then also didn't help that God of War Ragnarok came out the same year. So it's like at the end of the year, nobody remembered Horizon.
Now, do y'all think Horizon's a good game? Like, did you play it, Josh?
I didn't play the second one. I played the first one.
Do you think it was a good game?
The first one?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good. It wasn't my favorite game, but I thought it was good. But I definitely would say Zelda was better, and I think that same. Well, I haven't played 2, but from what I've seen, I would personally pick Elden Ring as the game I would enjoy more. But I think that again, if it doesn't have to compete directly with another high-profile game, like this game came out in September, Elden Ring came out in April, people would feel a lot better about Horizon because it was the only game out that they really enjoyed at that time.
Right.
Like timing is everything because like the worst thing ever to happen to Titanfall was it came out 2 weeks before Battlefield and 3 weeks and like a month before Call of Duty. And it's like nobody's gonna play your game with the other 2 bigger IPs at the same time.
Right.
Even if your game is technically the better game.
Did you like
that year?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that year I think I forget which Battlefield, but Battlefield I think was okay, but the Call of Duty sucked, and it's like Titanfall probably could have carved out its own space with the competition not being there, but it just came out too close.
Yeah, agreed. Titanfall was set up for failure, but we all know that, and that's I never forgive EA for that. But what about you, Jalen? Did you like Horizon enough to have just interest in Horizon Forbidden West, or did you feel like Horizon Forbidden West was going to probably give you more of the same, and were you not okay with that?
So I mean, I like Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was cool. I liked it, like what I'm saying, like the environment and all that type of stuff with the game and what they did with it. It is a third person shooter type game where you hide behind stuff, right? Like,
yeah, technically, you got covered. You kind of you hide, but you don't. It's a lot of action packed.
Uncharted.
Yeah, it's not Uncharted. No, I would not say that their gameplay is similar to Uncharted in any way. No.
You don't think it's similar nowhere?
No, I think it's similar is that it's a third person camera view.
Okay. I probably got a little bit more jaded view with those. If jaded the word, I just feel like they came out with a fair amount of games that's similar. Like I'm not gonna say that the game is actually similar to Uncharted, but I feel like
it has similarities. It has some of the same DNA, like climbing and stuff like that. But
yeah, and I just felt like with that being said, and When Uncharted first came out, I thought it was interesting, like this formula, how they play the game and stuff like that. Then I started playing more Uncharted, and I started playing The Last of Us, and then the game started seeming kind of a little similar to each other. I play other games that did the same thing, so I just say all that to say, like, I thought Horizon was cool. I think the whole concept, the world, and everything is cool, but I don't feel like the game did enough different. I mean, I think it did enough different. I just don't feel like the gameplay was as immersive as I would have wanted it to be. I feel like I get something similar. I'm not going to say Forbidden West could have been a DLC expansion, but when I thought about getting Forbidden West, I felt like it would be potentially like a DLC expansion of the original game. If that makes sense. Granted, it's obviously it's its own entity and game and stuff like that, but that was the vibe I was getting. And that's why I just was like, I kind of don't have to get this game. So I don't know if that kind of makes sense.
No, it makes sense because that is the sentiment that most probably had, that is forgettable, and that is you could probably skip it, and that's why people skipped it. It's because of the effect of Uncharted's secondary games. Like, if the story isn't great and it wasn't compelling, then more than likely you didn't care because it's all the same gameplay. But the gameplay in Horizon was more interesting to me than the story. So I liked fighting the robots and dismantling them and using all my arsenal to kind of take them on the hardest difficulties and stuff like that, because I thought it was just fun. It felt like a way more interesting Monster Hunter, because you would go through, check for components, knock stuff off their bodies to try to get certain things and upgrades. And it felt good to hunt them and kill them and stuff like that. So it just felt good, that loop. And it was the same old for that on the second end. Now, was the game more drastic and more, not drastic, but more expanded and expansive? I guess it's the same thing, expanded and expansive, but it was more expansive in that way, where the world was bigger, the cutscenes was better, the storytelling was better, the action driven moments were better. So a lot of stuff was elevated, but it was elevated based off that same previous formula. So a lot of people just felt as if it was a skippable game. I guess I'm here to kind of shoot it some bail. Honestly, I think it's probably one of the better open world games that I've played, for sure, in the last 2, 3, 4 years. It definitely is worth it when it comes to gameplay. Aloy herself is difficult to really become captivated within. She's not that great of a emotion driven character. Like, her hero arc is already finished. She just is a hero. And if she's not entertaining as a hero, you kind of have to embody the moments as if you're yourself and seeing through Aloy. I'm not saying she's not a compelling character, but she's just not a great character either. She has her moments, but that is about it. And I think that kind of hindered it too, especially with the amount of people online that just cannot take a female-led character. But overall, I think that kind of hurt it the most, is that she is the main character. Because outside of that, the game is fantastic. Graphically, sound-wise, music, the everything, like everything else really works well. And I think the story even works decent enough. It's just the fact that it's just like, I think that and on top of stuff feeling the samey, it kind of causes this game to fall into that bucket of skippable. But again, I want to pull it out of that because I don't think the game is skippable. I actually really enjoyed it. And I thought it was a lot of fun. It's just there's a certain particular things about it that may turn people off. But what is that not with any game? Like, honestly, I didn't care two craps about Zelda's story, but it was perfect in my eyes. And I think that same lens should be put on Horizon because they did so much right that the things that they didn't is not worth talking about. So, yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate space to be in, but Burning Shores is coming out today, and I expect it to have another great moments. Like Frozen Wilds was one of my favorite DLCs back on the PS4, and I played that through, and I thought that was a fun one. So I think that this was going to do the same for me, and it's already got me back into the game, and I'm going around trying to find better pouches and upgrades and all that stuff because it's at that point I want to be ready for when it drops. But just getting myself reacclimated with all the weapons and all the stuff, and it kind of did refresh my memory that this game is pretty good and it has a lot of depth, and you have a lot to play around in the sandbox. So I wanted to give it a little shout out, let it know that they got some DLC coming. It's only $20, which is great. And I'm pretty sure you can find that game now for less than 30 if you really tried hard. So
Y'all hear that boy promoting PlayStation games, man? He done took a new stance. Y'all heard it first.
Yeah, he the PlayStation Ryan McCaffrey.
Yeah, right, man.
That boy boosting
But
PlayStation.
no,
I knew he'd come around.
it makes sense. Like I was saying, after I played Horizon, I enjoyed it, but it felt weird, especially since I played it like after everybody else played it, where it's like I can see what was good about it, but also with open world games, they kind of need not a gimmick, but they need a hook to where it's like what makes your world unique. And for Horizon, it was the monsters and the robots and stuff like that. And so I didn't feel like that was enough to draw me into the open world to want to do all the quests. I just wanted to do the main story, and so that's all I did. So it's like with that impression, a lot of people can feel like they, like you say, it's skippable. But
yeah,
I did, the gameplay from what I seen of it does seem better than the original, so they're probably a better draw. If I had a PS5, I would check it out, but I don't. So I'll play that game in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's talk. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, like I reiterated before, or reiterating, like I liked Horizon. I thought it was a little bit more interesting than Uncharted. I think Uncharted story is a little bit better, and Drake was a more likable character and stuff like that. But I liked it, the little gimmicks. It kind of felt a little RPG-ish or whatever with the on how you take on enemies, like knowing their weaknesses, their resistance, so all that craft and stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought that was compelling to play the game more so, than the story and stuff, because I really enjoyed the gameplay of it. It's just, obviously you can speak more on it, and it might have a little bit more dynamics and different elements and things like that they might incorporate into the next one, but it's still like, how much time, my time limit and stuff like that. So do I want to spend time not necessarily understanding the system, but just going through this gameplay, and is it gonna feel like I'm really getting something out of it, and then it's been like X amount of dollars, just all those sorts of things is coming in a factor. Like, I think that I want to say the game is completely forgettable from my end. Like, I would play it, but obviously it's this aspect of time, and how do I want to utilize my time? Is this something that I really, really want to play? So, I'm just trying to get a game a little kudos. So,
and honestly, we got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and One Piece Odyssey to play.
I'm trying to tell you, we seen our favorite main characters.
We did.
Go Super Saiyan.
Them 7 out of 10 games,
time.
they keep you occupied. So I get it. I totally get it. But I just
we ain't trying to see Luffy go on an adventure again. I seen him go on an adventure 50 times. What's wrong
same
with the
storyline, but it still hit hard, baby. It still hit hard. So yeah. Like I said, truth be told, we got other stuff to do. But yeah, it's a shame, but hopefully they get their just due at some point, because I think they do work a lot harder than most to kind of make their game spectacular, and they did a lot to it to make it fun and enjoyable and replayable. So it is worth it in my eyes. But let's talk about another PlayStation game. It might be a little hot take, but I watched 30 minutes of Final Fantasy 16, and it did absolutely nothing for me. I said, what is this? I was like, I don't know why I thought it was gonna be something different. I said, so there's literally no quick time, there's no spells, there's no, I mean it is, but everything is in real time. And I said, what is this? I don't want to play it. I honestly was like, if I want to play an action game, there are better ones out there now. Why would I play this one? I was like, why not just play Bayonetta? So when I was watching it, and I was like, yes, they probably gonna have like the most bombastic soundtrack, probably some of the best scenes and like visuals, but that is not what I want from Final Fantasy. It's just not. So
Man, you don't like Final Fantasy music?
Hot take right now is that Final Fantasy 16 is not going to do well in the eyes of the people. That's my take. I'm not saying that people can adapt and enjoy our like action games, but nobody plays Final Fantasy for action like that. They play it for story and really great systems. That system has already been done, and if you're not doing it better, I really don't see the point. Yeah, that worries me. I ain't gonna lie, it worries me. I've seen a lot of spongy fights and spongy enemies, and I was just like, what? You telling me I'm supposed to play an action RPG? Action? Not, I guess it's an action RPG, and I'm supposed to play sponge fights? Like, I'm not actually doing anything that's stylistic. I'm not bouncing back and forth to keep me entertained throughout. I am literally just playing Final Fantasy enemies with action set moves. I just don't see it being cool. I really don't. I don't know. But did you watch it, Josh? Did you watch the 30-minute video?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've seen the combat breakdown. And so, two things. One, that's exactly what Stranger in Paradise is, but worse.
I know.
And then two, I think that I think people who are interested in Final Fantasy would come to expect it, because like I'm pretty sure Jalen only played Final Fantasy 15 for the combat, and it's like every Final Fantasy game, we know that they have to change the combat, they have to change how the game work. They never want to reuse old stuff, so they got to reinvent the wheel every time. And so it's like now, if they finally have a really good functioning combat system that's not janky, then that's great. That's what I see this game as, where it's like Final Fantasy 15, we want an action game, but we don't have the technical skill to make it Devil May Cry. So it's going to sit in this awkward place where it's janky, where it's trying to be Devil May Cry, but it's not as good. Whereas this game, maybe Devil May Cry 5 is still the best action game. But I feel like so far, what I've seen, it's leaning more towards that and less towards like a Stranger in Paradise type, where you just want to, where it's, I would say, not technical combat.
Did you play Devil May Cry 5?
Yes, I did.
Did you play it like when it first came out, or did you play it later on?
I played it within a year that it came out.
Okay.
And I played all the Bayonettas and Devil May Cry 4. It's like, yeah, like I get it. Like Capcom is the best, but they literally hired the combat designer on Devil May Cry. Like he left Capcom and is working on this game. It's like, no, it's not necessarily gonna be the same combat, because that's not the focus of Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry doesn't have a big focus on the story. Like it has their cutscenes, but it doesn't really matter. It's about the combat. Final Fantasy has the story to fall back on, and the story is going to be 60 hours and a bunch of people to talk to, and so like that's the main focus. But if the combat is still fun, it will keep you going throughout the story. For example, I don't think this combat in Ghost of Tsushima was that good. Like it was flashy, but it was very simple. But it was interesting enough to keep you going through the whole story where you didn't get too bored of it. Where same thing with this game. The game is 60 hours long. the combat has to be fun enough where you don't want to skip it, and
Bro,
it's still fun to fight the bosses.
I saw a lot of button mashes and L2s and R2s, and I said, I'm not trying to downplay the game because I think that they're gonna do a fantastic job of mixing the two worlds. But I think it's gonna be something in along the lines of Near Automata, where I just literally don't care about the gameplay, and I don't feel like it's that fleshed out. And maybe the story is more captivating than Near, because everybody loved that story, but I hated it to like, I don't know, to a 10th degree. I felt like it was like the biggest waste of my time. But I know Final Fantasy is a little more straightforward. They're a little bit more, reasonable to, or try to just, have that action hero and kind of tell a hero story. Simple enough, right? So maybe the story is captivating, but by the end of Nier, I was just over the combat, and it wasn't fun. And I just think that's what's going to happen with this game, because there's only so many times I can see like a super cool moment in a game before I know that the competitive, like once I'm done with this moment, I have to go back to this mundane action style game that's not God of War, or it's not, I don't know. It's just, that's what it feels like to me. And I hope that I'm wrong, because I still think I'm going to buy
Did
the
you feel like
game.
that about 7?
About 7 Remake?
Yeah.
No, because they had like I felt like that game still had the mix where it was like a mix to it. And maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but the mix is that you still had the actionable items and you could switch to your other characters. But this game doesn't have any of that strategy to it at all. It's literally one person. Everybody else is controlled by AI. And you literally have a dog companion. And that's about it. So I was like, what can they really do to make the game continue to be interesting? I already know there's going to be multiple time skips, so that's tough. That's already tough. 3 years, 3 different time periods in this guy's life. And these set pieces got to be interesting enough, and the people that they introduce have to be interesting enough to keep me going. So that's already tough. Like, I was just sizing it up, dog. I was at 30 minutes of just literally making me super unexcited. And I don't know. Like I said, it could be a hot take because I could just end up playing it and really love it. But right now, I cannot be any less excited about the game. And I don't want to say that some of the stuff that they did show wasn't good, because there seemed like there's a lot of effort in showcasing how to make the game easy for people, which means it tells me that it's going to be hard. And if it's hard, then that's going to be my type of party, where I'm just like, okay, but is it going to be spongy hard, where it's just like a artificial difficulty, or is it actually going to be compelling? Because only times games are compelling is when they introduce new things, weaknesses, and things like that to kind of showcase what to do. But I'm like, all these buttons are going to be mapped to simple things. It does not feel fun to play, but I could be wrong. So I really hope I am wrong. It looks like they polished the game quite a bit, and I feel like that's all that matters. So I'll try it.
Yeah,
But
I
that
will
is what
say
I'll
that
get to.
all the enemies have a lot of health, but they are using the same stagger system that they had in 7, whereas like a lot of the enemies in that game also had a lot of health, but when you stagger them, they fall down and you can do more damage. But basically, you got to know their weakness, and if they strong against fire, then you never gonna knock them down. So it seems like going into this game, knowing or at least learning somehow the enemy weakness will make it easier. Otherwise, yeah, all the enemies will be not bullet sponges, but yeah, like you said, spongy. Um, but I mean, yeah, it for me, I wasn't expecting a lot. My experience with Final Fantasy is they have a you go in for the story and the combat is okay. It's there to like occupy your time. This, I think personally, is better than what they did with 15, so that's why I'm more excited for it. But yeah,
But is it better
I
than
can
what
I
they
can
did with
understand it.
7?
13?
I what you say, Jalen?
Nah, I was about to. I was just adding on when you said the stagger system. I thought you was meaning 13 when you said 7.
No, I meant 7 remake, as in does the combat? Because I felt like from 15 to 7 was the kind of the evolving and making it better, and then
Hmm.
well, sorry, for 15 to 7 remake, and now let's go to 7 remake to 5 to 16. It feel like it's like a totally different thing. It's not even like I feel like
Well,
the usefulness of it and like the stuff that they built off of was actually used in 7 remake versus this
yeah,
is like a whole new thing.
the reason I mentioned 15 instead of 7 remake is because 7 remake is still using the ATB system where it's like you can swing your sword as much as you want, but all your abilities are like you have to have ability points. Like
Hmm.
hit the enemy 3 times and then you can use one spell, or you hit the enemy 8 times, now you can use 2 spells or something like that. So
Hmm.
it's like it's still a like turn-based component to it where you can't just keep using magic. Whereas this game, 15 and 16 are more action oriented, where it's like you're not limited by time or anything like that. If you have your fire spell mapped to, press R1 and then square, and you throw a fireball. As long as you got a magic, you can keep doing that. So it's more action oriented, whereas 7, it's action oriented, but there are limits in place to make it time based. A little bit like the classic one. I mean, all in all, they're all aiming for an action-oriented combat, and I think 7 did it really good, keeping that old style ATB system with more action combat. Whereas 15
Hmm.
and 16 looks like like you said, we want a full-on action game. We want Devil May Cry. We want Dragon's Dogma. We want an action game in our fantasy story. Um, so comparing 15 to 16, this feels like an upgrade. But is it better than 7? Don't know. Gotta play it. Um, but yeah, I mean, it might
It's
not
a
be perfect.
60-hour game, so yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like I was over Tales of Arise's combat, and they kept introducing new characters. So I don't know. I just feel like um, I'm gonna get annoyed, but
Hmm.
we'll see. I feel like as long as the hype train is continued, and like I said, my hot take is simply that it's not going to review well. I think a lot of people are going to give it like mid scores, um, but the game still might be compelling to the average, Final Fantasy player and any action RPG player because they're going to do the best. They're going to do the best things in this game. This is the one for them. This is like their big bombastic Bayonetta 3 style and sequences in the game. So I think it's gonna be huge battlefields, huge moments, a lot of memorable moments because and it's going that soundtrack gonna be busting. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be something of the best music we probably listened to in a very long time. So all those components is gonna make the game a 7 at least. I just think it's gonna be a misstep with story and it's gonna be a misstep with combat. So but we'll see. We'll see. I know that story guy is really good, so hopefully
What was
it's
that
not.
thing in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Jalen, where you lock on to people and shoot those energy balls at them?
Shot lock.
Shot lock. Yeah, 16 got that too.
Yep. I seen
Nah.
some of that. I seen some moments of that too. I seen a lot of those. Yeah, they said every fight gonna be unique with all of
Yeah.
the like the
Yeah, I'm
moves and
reviewing
stuff.
it right
Yeah.
now. Honestly, it looked fun, but like you said, um I don't think it is Devil May Cry, so that is gonna be a weak point. Like it has to be fun enough and flashy enough, that it doesn't get old.
quickly.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that we'll wait and see, and hopefully, they actually pull through because I believe in them for sure, but I'm a little nervous. But let's move on. We never talked about it, but it happened. E3 was canceled officially. Um, what can I say about E3? E3 was one of the things that was like on a bucket list of mine, where I just wanted to go, and I wanted to be out there, maybe with friends and just hang out and just go through the convention and do the normal thing, public once it became public. Um, it seemed like once they did that, it kind of went downhill from there. But I think definitely the pandemic had a lot to do with this. But E3 is officially dead. And now all we have is, center events, or Nintendo events, the Treehouse Live. We got we got Xbox's moments where when they bring a car out. Sony, they probably gonna have some, acoustics or somebody playing a banjo somewhere. Whatever the case may be, we got a lot of different stuff happening now versus one collective space to enjoy a moment. So it's unfortunate because again, I wanted to do that. That was something I wanted to truly like just go do. But maybe the Tokyo Game Show, or what's the other one that's in Germany? Is it Germany?
Well, GDC is the Game Developers Conference, but that's like
Is it PAX West? No, not is it PAX? No, not that.
Oh, PAX, there are multiple ones, but GDC I thought it was that one, but yeah. Anyways, there are other events, and like you said, I want to go to E3 too because that's like it was the central thing where everybody goes. You have your Ubisoft, EA, Nintendo, Sony, everybody in the same place. So that made it like a more attractive thing, especially because that's also when they would show their best stuff.
Yeah.
I'm okay with all the other events too, but Tokyo Game Show, in my opinion, nobody ever brings their best stuff to Tokyo Game Show. Like you'll see a trailer for a game you already seen before, or maybe there might be a couple small games, but yeah, that's the problem with all these other events is that they're all spread out. They're all over the world in different cities. The quality is going to vary between each one. And so you don't get that same central experience that you used to get from E3. They'll still all show their trailers during that week. But like, let's say we, travel to California and we want to go to these events during the E3 time span. It's like, oh, well, Microsoft here, they're downtown. And if you want to see the Sony stuff, they're over here, Midtown or something like that. So it's a lot of traveling and riffraff and stuff like that. So it doesn't make a fun public experience for the public. If you're in the press or you work in games, it's probably a different experience, and this is probably better for them because E3 had management issues or something like that. But yeah, it sucks that the public event or experience is
no longer,
in my opinion, diminished. Yeah, and
is.
Personally, I still like that everybody has their own stream and stuff now, but I don't like their scheduling. Because, Nintendo and Ubisoft, we don't do our stuff at the same time on YouTube. It's like, with E3, you didn't have this issue.
Nah. So it's just a lot of that. So, I mean, it's like I said, you're right. It's unfortunate. And I thought that it would stand a little bit more time. But everything must come to an end, I suppose. I mean, there is Jeff Neely was very opportunistic when he did this, but he tweeted, "We still got the Summer Game Fest or whatever. Now that this is gone, so we've been working on this." And I was like, "Okay, Jeff, get out of here, buddy. We still mourning our E3." Yeah, I guess that's going to be something. Maybe it does become as big as E3, and that's something that is a little bit more, structured and has a good understanding behind it, because he does the Game Awards show and he has a lot of connections. So, I would think if anybody could pull off together and bring back a lot of companies, it could be Jeff. But we'll see. So, maybe that'll be the next thing is going to the Summer Game Fest. But anywho, Suicide Squad got delayed. Thank the Lord. It got delayed because it looked pretty bad. You're shooting purple orbs all over the place, and yeah, it just didn't look good. It didn't look fun. It looked fluid, and the world looked interesting, but you're literally fighting crime with Shark King, and you're literally like just shooting guns. It was crazy to me. Yeah. It did not go over well. So I don't think they're gonna
to 2024.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna change anything about the game. They're just probably going to remove a lot of the microtransaction looking stuff, the loot and stuff like that. It might be a little bit more streamlined, but I don't think they're gonna change.
I don't think it's gonna change
structure.
much, honestly.
Yeah,
I just think that they're gonna work on the presentation of it because like it was supposed to come out in what, like a month and a half.
Yes.
And like bad marketing and bad press would have killed this game. And so with at this point, what, spring of next year is supposed to come out, so a whole nother year to work on it. Then y'all can work on y'all advertisement and presentation, because it's like it's still gonna be a loot and like microtransaction filled game. But at least if it doesn't feel like I said, with these games you gotta fire on all cylinders. Like, people gotta enjoy the story, the gameplay loop gotta be there, the in-game loop gotta be there. Microtransactions, y'all gotta have them, sure, but what makes it interesting? Like, is the battle pass like a grind and all this extra stuff? So hopefully in a year it will be ready, because this game was supposed to come out I think it was supposed to originally come out last year or something like that. But yeah, just keep working on it until you get it right, I guess.
Exactly. Keep working on it, people, because that game looked atrocious, unfortunately, and we were all excited for it. We thought he was going to get something special, unique experience, and to run around and be shooting at helicopters with guns, it's just not fun. So, I really hope that they fix it and they make it better. I hope they truly understand, because it looked like Gotham City Imposters, to be honest with you. I don't know if you remember that game, but it reminded me a little bit of that, and I was like, no. So, yeah, I really hope that they figure it out, and I think presentation wise, as long as it looks good, I hope they don't try to go free to play. Oh God, please don't do that. But as long as the presentation is kind of cleared up, and it's tough to, show off your game like that, and they did it, and yeah, they did not receive the type of compliments, and they didn't receive the reception they thought they were going to get with that game. The reception was way off.
That whole state of play was all Gotham Knights.
Yeah, they were confident.
Not even Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they were super confident. But yeah, it's a W for the delay. Something that Redfall can learn from, but it just feels like they're just holding off the inevitable. Hopefully the marketing is better, and hopefully people can, it's not fighting against Final Fantasy 16. It's not fighting against Street Fighter. It's not fighting against Zelda. It can possibly live, because I think that was like the tester. They was like, is this something that people want? And they said, heck no, that game will get buried, bro. Don't put it out. But they say, you're right. We're gonna put it out a year later. So, and they better hope Phantom Liberty don't. I don't know when Phantom Liberty dropping. Is that supposed to be this year or next? For Cyberpunk,
probably next year or late this year. But I think they're supposed to show it off, or like sometime soon.
Yeah, because I can't wait. But I wanted to segue into our path tracing moment with Cyberpunk. Path tracing it's like a superior ray tracing, and that's all I really know about it. Honestly, I
Mm.
don't. I looked it up. I mean, I tried to look it up and I tried to get some explanations from Digital Foundry and IGN. I was like, okay, but what it sounded like to me is that it basically replaces all lighting in the game in general and only uses the sun and moon to light, and like the actual light sources of the game. So truly, there is no artistic light implementation in the game at all. All of it is done through real time shadows and mapping of the game. And it looks a lot better, but it also provides a darker image. So honestly, when I was flipping back and forth and I was watching the IGN one, I was like, I kind of prefer the ray tracing one. And it actually can run on your account on your PC because the only way you can play this path tracing right now is to use DLSS 3 and have like a 4090, 4080. Did you try to run it?
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh.
I haven't tried it because when I played, because I got a 3080 and I played
Mm.
it with ray tracing, and it was like medium ray tracing at 60 FPS, and it ran okay. But with this, like you said, you gotta really push it and like have a
Hmm.
really good computer to do it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's essentially the future. Like that is how we want to. That is like where we want to be. We want to get to that type of lighting, that type of sequence, because it does make everything look realer. Like the realism of it just kind of shines through. And
Mhm.
Cyberpunk is just a great city to be in anyway. So I thought it looked really good, and I guess my question is, do should gamers care about this lighting techniques right now?
Um, no, I would say no because this is those 1% situations where it's it looks extremely good,
Mm-hmm.
but the game before it already looked extremely good with
Yeah.
the technology that they had,
Yes.
and you don't need to push it uh, to this point, especially if you don't already have the hardware to do it. Like if you don't already have a 4080 and you don't already have the the specs in your computer to do it, like it doesn't make any sense to do that for this one game because also there are not going to be any other games for a while at least that also implement this like this. Like when Cyberpunk came out, it was already like a cutting edge game, and they've continuously been pushing ray tracing technology. But there, a lot of other games have not been doing that because like there, what was a recent story? Resident Evil 2 and 3 also had ray tracing, and they removed it. They removed it in the latest patch because it wasn't good, and I
Oh,
think
I
it's
didn't
going
know
to take
that.
time. Yeah, I think it was on Your Gamer that talked about it. Capcom never made a statement about it, and they haven't come out and said why they removed it. Maybe they're going to put it back and it's going to be better.
Hmm.
But basically, the ray tracing implementation, it was weak. Like it didn't look that much better, and it made your machine run a lot worse, even on consoles. So they
Hmm.
removed it, and maybe they're gonna fix it. But anyways, all that to say, I think a lot of companies are gonna need a lot of time to reach that level that CD Projekt Red has done. So I would say this is like end of generation, next generation stuff. But it's nice to see in this game, and Cyberpunk keeps looking better and better. For me, I would say this is just good for screenshots. I
Uh,
don't care about playing the game like this,
yeah.
but the game is gonna look amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I just, it's just like all the AI and all this stuff. I feel like all this stuff is going to start to get faster and faster and faster. And it's just going to be artificial intelligence. Like all of this stuff is going to start to become, because like that is, because they were talking about the, um, how the like the actual workflow of like ray tracing something or path tracing something and how AI was going to help accelerate that to kind of get the ghosting effect and
Hmm.
the stutter or not stutter but ghosting effects and everything out of the images is because that is going to be it's kind of going to be handed off to AI to kind of determine the best steels and all that stuff to use at the moment and when to shut it off and shut it on to kind of to allow for images not to ghost. So it's just a lot of stuff, man. And I feel like this stuff is going to be just accelerated, and it's actually not going to require hard, like really, really powerful hardware, which is really important to NVIDIA because they want everybody to use their cards, and they want this stuff to be scalable, and they want this stuff to be able to just be push of a button, and now you got path tracing in your game, because that is how they want to keep people, invested in their side of the
NVIDIA
business.
brand. Yeah,
the NVIDIA brand,
which is good, because like that will eventually make, even though it's not NVIDIA, because the Steam Deck is AMD, right?
Yes.
Overall, like with these improvements, it'll get better over time for everybody. So you'll get better games on your handheld consoles or your low spec consoles as well. And I think it's cool. And with ray tracing, like a lot of that stuff has already existed. Like you could have a game that looked this good, but performance wise, it would never run that well, or it would require a whole bunch of optimization. Because like you said, with ray tracing, like it uses so much CPU and GPU power that there's artifacting in the image still. So with the AI to smooth that over, it will get a lot better, and you will start to see that stuff on lower spec machines. I think this is a cool. I would still call it a benchmark, even though you can play the whole game like this. It's a benchmark, and to see what's possible. Personally, I don't see it happening in other games until next generation.
Yeah. Well, I know that it's been I know that with these types of these upgrades and all of this usefulness, it just tells me to wait on buying any type of hardware right now. Like I really don't want to buy. I want to buy a 4090, but at the same time, I want to wait to the next generation. And I want to continue. I want to wait to make sure that I am jumping in at the right moment, because honestly, the way these games are going and these consoles and all this stuff coming to PC, I like my Steam Deck. There's a lot of value in purchasing like some of these games and going through Steam, because I finally found like a OS that I enjoy, an operating system that I enjoy on the PC, and that is Steam OS. And I can't wait for like all that stuff to be able to, like Steam OS, in my opinion, is single-handedly helping me get comfortable with PC gaming. So I just feel like that is something I'm starting to feel more comfortable with. So, when this type of technology comes out, I want to be able to test it and look at it and see it. And I value that part of it. So I want to wait until the right time to jump in, because I just think these advancements are going to get faster and faster and faster. So in 3 years or 2 years or 3 years from now, I think we're going to be at a spot where the AI assistance has finally caught up with the hardware, and the hardware is probably going to start to become less important, and more of the software is going to become even more important than it already is. So, so we'll see. But that is our show. Anything else before we get up out of here? Anything you want to say to the people before we go?
Good.
I don't have anything else. We talked about a lot. Next week we're gonna be back. Jalen gonna tell us all about Chrono Trigger, how he beat it.
Don't forget the section.
Ending. Make sure you get the true ending, Jalen. Don't mess it up. And I'll be telling y'all about how Resident Evil 4 was a letdown. It's like,
Some broke boys.
Don't disrespect Resident Evil 4.
Resident
Evil 4 is gonna change your life. That's gonna be your favorite
make
game.
Wish Jalen a happy birthday. In between the two podcasts, his birthday gonna come up, so We want to see some donations coming in. Help them
Donations.
get him some more shoes. He's shoe man.
That's
Get
shoe
me out of broke
man.
boys category.
Is it?
Hey, I ain't bought a pair. Well, actually, but
And he always said, "I ain't bought a pair since last week."
I don't even sound like that.
This is I ain't even had the voice.
Man, that was a perfect Jalen impression.
Yeah.
I bought some on the whim, but I'm finna send them back, so that don't count. So really, I buy my shoes since the jump time 50 minutes.
Here we go. Always trying to hear y'all. He always come with the technicalities. Don't worry, man. Just don't be out there on your drama rant. That's all you need to worry about. Just get your section, have your good time. Don't hold the blicky up to the camera. You know, you stay safe.
Don't be broke boys.
Don't be broke boys. That's right. But all right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. As always, we appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, obviously, leave us a like, leave us a happy smiley face comment, whatever you want to do. We appreciate you guys listening. Especially if you got to this part, you're the real OG. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here and write down some more topics for next time. But thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. Peace.